Money in the Bank happened. There was a lot of good. There was a lot of bad. We're going to break it down here at the Triple Threat Wrestling Podcast. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. We drop daily wrestling content. Right above me, here's a WWE shop link. Just an extra click for you. No extra money, but you get all the merch, but you support your boys here at the Wrestling Podcast. Third man, you good?
I'm good. 2 Money in the Bank winners, 1 cash in, 6-man tag main event. Let's get into it.
All right. Well, there is some bad too. We got to talk about when we get to it, but we'll start with something good. So the pay per view starts with the Money in the Bank men's match. What are your thoughts on the match?
I thought this was a great way to start the show. We got some great action from all 6 competitors. We had some great spots. I love the start with Gable having the armbar on Drew and Andrade dropping that leg drop on him. I thought that was a great hot start to the match. Carmelo Hayes, I think he's the unsung hero of this match. Love when he hits that first 48. Took a lot of crazy bumps off the ladder, and really had a great debut for his first main roster PLE. So I thought it was pretty good. Not as good as the women, but pretty good.
It wasn't as good as the women, but I would agree with Carmelo Hayes. He was bumping everywhere in that spot where Andrade had him on the middle rope and they back flip onto the ladder.
Back salt.
That crazy. Looked brutal. I thought Carmelo was going to get the Kofi Kingston chest. It all sunk in and shit because he hit it pretty hard. But obviously Drew wins. We all kind of figured that would happen. And that leads to later in the show. But overall, it was a decent Money in the Bank match. Usually they used to have 8 people in the match, but there's only 6. So I don't know if that's been just how they're doing it now. But
I think 8 people is just way too many. I mean, 6 is a lot. These kind of matches are very hard to.
Are you there? Captain America frozen in time. Are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
You froze. So whatever that last part is you said, just say it again and I'll cut this out.
Yeah. So we have Chad Gable doing fantastic heel work in this run of his. I love to go into Money in the Bank matches and look for spots that I've never seen before. And we had Chad Gable hitting the German suplex on all of his opponents, but then we had him take the ladder and German suplex the ladder onto Andrade, which I thought was pretty awesome. Got a big pop from the crowd. So I think everybody had some great spots in this match. And then like you said, we have Drew coming out with the win. What do you think about that?
I called it, and we're going to talk about what happens with him later in the show. But, I think that he should have won it and just held on to it for a little bit. I don't like when every year the Money in the Bank holder holds it to like Mania. I don't like that because it's like it kind of takes the feeling out of any time, anywhere. But he could have held it for a couple months, maybe SummerSlam or, Night of Champions. But, I do like Drew. I think that he deserved it. But based on what happens later, they should have probably went with someone else, in my opinion.
Well, he called his shot, right? He went in there and said, "Hey, I'm going to win Money in the Bank, and I'm going to walk out of Money in the Bank, the World Heavyweight Champion." So the first step he was able to accomplish, which was pretty impressive.
Right. So that was a good match. We go into Sami Zayn and Braun Breaker. Braun looked really good. He finally got rid of his generic wrestler number 3 music from like 2K. So you just put generic music on somebody. He looked good, but I just don't know why Sami won. Like, I mean, I get it, but like this was your chance to make Braun like a little bit bigger. And I think you've kind of run your course with Sami. Like, what else can you do with him right now? Like, the biggest thing was him and Chad Gable, and it kind of feels like it's time for him to pass the title now.
Well, see, this is the thing. Sami's a made man in WWE, whether people want to admit it or not. I mean, we tend to forget that he ended the reign of Gunther 666 days as Intercontinental Champion, right? That's a huge accomplishment. And WWE and Triple H, they love Sami Zayn. I can see why they love Sami Zayn. He gets the crowd behind him, right? He's able to get reactions from the crowd, even back when he was doing his honorary Us with the Bloodline, right? Making the Usos and Roman Reigns break character. He just has so much character and is awesome in the ring. I don't think Sami Zayn can have a bad match if he tried.
Right.
And I don't think it's a bad thing for Braun Breaker to lose to a guy like Sami Zayn, right? I mean, he's a 4-time Intercontinental Champion. Like I said, he's a made man in WWE. This match has some great spots in it. Braun going around, they tried to hit him with the spear, and Sammy did the leapfrog, and Braun remembered this time and stopped himself in front of the ladder. I thought that was a great spot of the match. But Braun losing here, I don't think it's terrible. I don't think it's terrible. And I think same thing kind of with Jade, right? She finally kind of lost in that disqualification match, really didn't hurt her. I don't think Braun losing to Sami Zayn hurts him.
Yeah, I don't either, for sure. I guess my point is with Sammy is like right now, like the crowd likes him, obviously, and he's a
And
made
it's in
man and all
Canada.
that, but
And it's in Canada.
yeah,
I mean, come on.
well, right. But like his character, he's the best when he's the underdog chasing something. He's the crowd is hyped for him. I would have loved to see Braun take it here and have Sammy like go back as this underdog. Like, I'm gonna beat him now and get it, and have this feud go on longer. But either way, Braun looked good. It ain't gonna hurt Braun. And yeah, it was it's still a very good match. It's a very good match.
I love that gorilla press slam into the gorilla press into the power slam, man. Like I've always loved that move. Back when I watched Goldberg do it, that is such an awesome move. And Sammy's Blue Thunder Bomb, always loved that move. But Michael Cole, he sells it as if Sammy's actually gonna win with that move. I don't think
Yeah.
he's ever won with that Blue Thunder Bomb. It looks cool, but I don't think he's ever won from it.
Never.
Yeah, but Braun Breaker takes the L, Sami Zayn takes the W, and even though he's the champ, he still has that underdog mentality, right? I think he actually went into this match probably the underdog against Braun. Everybody thought that Braun was just going to run over him, and Sami prevailed again. And I'm looking forward to see where this story goes with the IC Championship.
For sure. And then next, unbeknownst to anybody, John Cena comes out. And he gives his speech.
Slow down there, Lucky. Slow down. We got to talk about Trish Stratus. Okay, we got to talk about Stratus faction coming out into the Toronto crowd, right? And gracing us with her presence.
Too bad Toronto didn't appreciate it, because out of all the foreign countries we've been to, this is the flattest crowd, but they were not really hype. Like this wasn't France or Australia. They were like you can even tell when
or Puerto Rico. They weren't even Puerto Rico either. Puerto Rico was hyped too.
Yeah, I mean, Trish was in the ring in the beginning of the show, and she's like waiting for them to pop, and they're just not. And it's like,
yeah, it's hard. It's hard too, because that France crowd, I don't think I've ever seen a much liver crowd from start to finish. I don't know if that's the first time they've ever had an event in France, or they never had a PLE, but they've done like European shows. But it's real hard, man, to compare any foreign crowd, as they say, to France, just because they were just so hot from start to finish. I don't think we'll ever see a fan base like that until probably go back to Europe, to be honest. But you're right. Let's talk about Cena a little bit here.
Yeah, so he comes out, announces that it's the last time is now, and he's retiring now. Luckily for us as fans, I mean, we all grew up with Cena, if you're about our age, and he is gonna do the whole next year. So January to December, he's got like 30 to 40 dates. So Mania is not his final match, but it will be his last Mania, his last Elimination Chamber, his last Royal Rumble. So he deserves.
So does that mean he's going to be in the matches, or is he just going to compete at these matches? Because I mean, Royal Rumble and Elimination Chamber, those are the gimmick matches of the night.
Yeah, I think that he's definitely going to do the Royal Rumble. It's his last one. So, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
he'll do that. It depends. I mean, so here's a question for you. In this last year, are they going to give him the 17th championship? Because maybe he will be in the Elimination Chamber and maybe he will win a championship.
That's a good question. I mean, it's possible. It's possible. I mean, there's a ton of dream matches, right, for Cena coming back. I mean, going back with Orton, having another run against CM Punk. I mean, if you really want to go crazy with it, you have him win the Rumble, and then you have him go against Cody at WrestleMania. I mean, if you really want to go crazy, right? Babyface versus babyface. Um,
I
there's
think
a
if he
whole.
wins the title, it's not going to be the undisputed title. It'll be the World Heavyweight Championship because it'll
Mhm.
just add his name to that lineage. And it'd be like,
Right.
okay, this is a prestigious title. Seth Rollins, John Cena, Damian Priest has been doing his thing. So, I mean, that's my thing. It would probably be the World Heavyweight Championship if he does, though.
I mean, I don't know, 17-time world champion. I mean, the 16-time has always been like synonymous with, Cena and Flair and just wrestling in general. So it'd be kind of tough to justify giving Cena a title run right now unless they book it right. I mean, if they book it right and they book him strong, and they make it believable, absolutely 100%. You can put the strap on him and you can make him, 17-time, passing Ric Flair. But it's going to be very interesting. I think he said he's going to be at the Raw on Netflix, right? Because that's going to be happening very soon. Then, like you said, he had the last time is now gear, right? The red gear, the red and blue gear. So it's going to be very interesting what happens with Cena. At first I thought I was like, wait a minute, is he just coming to Money in the Bank and just announce his retirement and walking away? So I had
Right.
like all these questions when he first came out, but then as the promo continued on, and John Cena is one of the best promos of all time, he kind of let us know what the plans are, right? That he's going to be around. So um, I think this would be great. I think this would be great for WWE, great for John Cena. Great way for him to, if he's actually going to hang him up and hang him up for real, and maybe do something like a Stone Cold or a Rock later on down the line. This is probably the best time to do it.
Yeah. Well, he did say that after he's done, he's done. No more. It'll be suit and ties. He's not even going to take bumps anymore. He said that in the press conference. He's like, I'm 100% not doing anything else wrestling related unless I come back for like a promo and a suit and tie. Like when my last match happens, that's it. It's done. That's over.
I don't know.
So
Do you believe that though? I mean, Austin said the same thing, right? And then Austin had that crazy match with KO, and everybody thought The Rock was never really going to come back and get in the ring anymore. So
I
you
guess you
just
never say
you never,
never. Yeah.
never say never for sure, dude. You never. I mean,
Yeah.
he might be like Ric Flair and be 73 years old and have his last match at 73.
Yeah.
You
Against
never
Jeff
know.
Jarrett. All right. So that was a bit of an emotional because he was choking up too. It was emotional. But
Oh yeah, for sure.
then we get to the real reason I cried for the night. So Priest versus Rollins, right? Um,
Hmm.
Pretty solid match. Rollins, now a lot of people said he looked out of shape. Keep in mind it was his first match back, and he still looked pretty
I
damn
thought he
good. I
looked
mean,
great. I
he
thought he
looked
looked
very
great.
good.
Yeah, he wasn't
Um,
cut and chiseled like he usually is, right? But I think in the ring, he looked great.
yeah. And so then the obvious Drew cashes in, and
Okay,
CM
slow
Punk
down.
caused.
Let's back up. Let's back up a little bit. Let's back up a little bit. So I'm watching this match, right? And I wasn't watching it live. I rewinded it when I was catching it live, and I was able to rewind. So they get into that spot where Rollins is covering Priest, and they
Oh
hit
yeah,
the
yeah,
one, the two, and Priest is just laying there, and the referee acts like there was a kick out, and I'm like, I was confused. I was like, wait a minute, like what's going on? Is Rollins gonna win or what's gonna happen? And then they kind of it, and then Drew's music hits. So was Drew's music supposed to interrupt the referee's count, or I mean, would a music hit even count as interrupting the referee's count. I was just really confused because the match was actually pretty damn good, hard hitting up
It
until
was
that
good
point.
till then, and that's what I was trying to get to that, but I said CM Punk first. But my point of the beginning of this, when I said the match that made me cry, was that botch that you're just talking about.
Mhm.
Because yes, the music is supposed to interrupt the ref count, because you've seen it before when like a ref is in the middle of, especially what was it, Survivor Series. Dolph Ziggler gets pummeled by Triple H and Seth Rollins
Yep.
and all them, and that he hasn't pinned 1, 2, and then when Sting's music hits, the referee stops counting because they're like, "What the heck's going on?" This
Right.
is supposed to be like that. It's supposed to do that. Production team, everyone's blaming the referee. It was the production team. They didn't hit the music on time, but also on the referees to kind of fix it. They should have figured it out. He should have just dropped the 3 to save kayfabe, because you look stupid. Everything looks stupid in that whole part.
It's
Like,
hard, man, when it's live. When it's live like that, people don't understand. Lucky, I don't know how much live stuff you've done, but I was in choir and band and drama, right? And when you're live, it's tough because you get one
yeah,
take. You get one take, so it's tough. It's tough, but I was a little confused. But once Drew's music hit, I was like, okay, this makes sense now. Okay,
it makes sense,
this is
but
what
it
college
really
match.
looked bad. Like, if
Yeah.
you're like a fan, or you're like, if I brought a fan that doesn't watch wrestling and said, "Here's why you should
Hmm.
watch it. Let's watch this pay-per-view."
Right.
That looks like completely scripted. It looks
Hmm.
complete, and I get it, right? Mistakes happen, but I think in that environment you have to improvise. Like, if I'm the
Yeah.
referee, like, dude, we are all gonna look so stupid. I need to drop this hand for the 3 count. We'll just go from there. We'll figure it out. They've done it before with the Cena and Batista. Vince comes out and we figure it out. You
Oh,
know,
is that when Vince blew out both of his
yeah.
quads?
But it's like, if I'm the referee, like, I don't hear that music, I just
or
stop counting. That
yeah,
doesn't make sense.
or I mean, or you just set up the spot where Priest just kicks out at 3, at 2, 2.5, and right when that kick out happens, the music hits.
They
Right?
should have. I mean, Priest also is at fault, because Drew's coming
Right.
and you
Right.
don't hear music. At least
Right.
you don't have enough time to do a kick out. You have enough time to, like, oh shit, like, let me get the shoulder up real quick, just to break that
Right.
count up, because it was
Right.
a miss on a few different points there. I mean, production team, the ref, and Damien all should have done something different. If production's going to fail, you got to improvise. But it was a good match till then. And then CM Punk cost Drew the match, which a lot of people are going to say we wasted the Money in the Bank for the year. Like, you have nothing to look forward to for another year of that briefcase. But I think I'm okay with it. I mean, he already said it was going to happen. You've had every Money in the Bank winner for the last couple of years has held it long term. I'm all right with letting it go this year. And I don't like it that it furthered this feud. I think that the feud is already red hot. You don't need to add any more fuel to this fire. It's cooking. So if you're going to do that, I mean, I would have just gave the Money in the Bank to somebody else, honestly. Make it like someone else that could hold it for a few more months. But I didn't like how we're using it just to further Drew and CM Punk, because it didn't need it. It really didn't need it.
Excuse me. Yes and no. Like, I agree with you to a point where feud is so hot, don't need it, right? But now you make this feud white hot, pretty much bolstering hot now by Punk costing Drew the match. And I kind of disagree with you a little bit. Like, I like when someone has the Money in the Bank um briefcase. I like it when they're flaunting it around. I like when they're coming to the ring with it. I like that stuff. So to see, we've seen Money in the Bank cashes happen at Money in the Bank, and most times, if I'm not mistaken, they win it, right? They
Yeah.
win it. And I'm just interested to see what storyline they have for Priest, right? Because it would have been tough to have Drew win it, but now he has to face Gunther at SummerSlam, which is the next PLE, if I'm not mistaken, right? So, um, I personally think that Finn's probably gonna figure out a way, or there's gonna be a way where Finn actually costs Priest the title. against Gunther, even though I personally think Gunther should win clean and look strong. But this that attack by CM Punk was legit, dude.
Yeah.
Multiple hitting him out on the apron, and then Priest hitting him with the South of Heaven chokeslam. I think it worked great. And I think the Seth Rollins in this whole thing, he was pretty pissed off. It seemed like at CM Punk afterwards, they were sharing words, just
Yeah.
because I guess they've been good friends. And Seth Rollins like, well, hey, dude, you screwed me out of my only shot as long as this guy's champ. And it's very ironic because when CM Punk came back, those seemed like the first two feuds that were going to happen, right? CM Punk versus Rollins, and then CM Punk versus Drew. So it's going to be very interesting how this develops, and if Seth Rollins kind of involves himself into this feud that's probably going to culminate next month at SummerSlam.
Well, I mean, yeah, because CM Punk, not only did he screw Drew McIntyre, he got rid of the Money in the Bank cash in because it wasn't successful. And he screwed Rollins because Rollins can't challenge for the title for the rest of the time Priest is champion. So it was a lot of people are mad at Punk.
It's a hell of a way.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
One thing you said is that you like to see people flaunt the briefcase and all that. I do too. What I hate is I don't like when they hold it all the way to Mania. We've seen it a lot of times where it's like when you hold it for so long, where it's like, okay, like they're gonna cash it in at any point, or
right,
I don't have a problem with it being like Survivor Series cash it in or here, but it seems like it's either at least a handful of times it's either the Money in the Bank pay-per-view or it's WrestleMania. And it's like, where's the anytime, anywhere? Give me another when Miz cashed in on Alberto Del Rio. That was just out of nowhere on a Monday Night Raw. That was awesome,
Yeah, I think Io cashed in at SummerSlam last year, so I think she only had it for a month. I was listening to a pod, and they actually asked, what are the two shows? What are the two shows? The question was, there are two shows that have had the same amount of Money in the Bank successful cash-ins, and what were they? And the two shows were actually Monday Night Raw and Money in the Bank. So I thought that was pretty interesting, considering Drew failed on his cash-in, right? So it just kind of sucks. It's a little bit of a waste. It would have been nice to have, maybe LA Knight have that, or if you really wanted to go crazy, give it to Chad Gable, right? And he would have flaunted that. He would have flaunted that briefcase, and it would have been something else, So, Priest looked a little down, right? Another match that he's had interference, that he hasn't been able to win any of his matches clean. So, looking forward to Gunther versus El Campeón next month.
Yeah, for sure. And then after that, we move to the women's Money in the Bank match. It's the match of the night. It truly
100%.
was. I mean, for me, Chelsea Green took that nasty table spot. That was crazy. Tiffy time, she comes out on top and she had a good showing. Zoe Stark was like the Carmelo Hayes of this match. He took a lot of bumps. Crazy bumps. And I thought it was a great match. What do you think?
I agree 100%. There were some mix-ups. There was some mix-up in this match too from the women, but again, these Money in the Banks, these ladder matches are so tough to navigate through, right? Chelsea Green starts it off so funny with some comedy, right? They talk about how she's afraid of heights. She's lifting the ladder, right, to knock down the Money in the Bank briefcase off the carabiner. So she's just, I don't think she gets enough credit, for what she does in the ring, the bumps that she takes. If anybody wants to see some real Chelsea Green wrestling, check out Lucha Underground, Chelsea Green versus Pentagon Dark in Lucha Underground. You can really see what Chelsea Green can do. But Io hitting the Meteora into the ladder, into Tiffy, and then suplexing Lyra into the ladder, and then Lyra with the fisherman suplex, onto the ladder, and then Zoe with that crazy Samoan drop onto the ladder. Then she goes with that move where she does like a twisting backdrop onto the onto the opponent, and she totally missed and like almost lands on her neck. I was like really, really scared for her. But I agree with you. She put a lot of work into this match. I mean, that spot right before the Chelsea Green where EO hit her with like the power slam onto the ladder match to set up Tiffy and Chelsea at the end. Another huge bump by Zoe. It seems like WWE really likes her. She's been in quite a few high profile matches. She was with Trish Stratus for a while, and she's a little powerhouse, man. She's a little powerhouse. Shout out to Naomi with that crazy split-legged DDT when she had both her legs on opposite sides of the ladder. Just crazy, crazy spots in this match. And I agree with you, Lucky. The spot of the night, and we finally got some Tiffy time. I think the crowd was behind her. I think the WWE Universe, you and I are behind her. And I think this is the perfect type of situation for her type of personality and her character. She is just going to flaunt that briefcase all over the place. Who knows? It might be pink by the time, Monday Night Raw or SmackDown comes, right? But well deserved by Tiffy. I think they're putting the rocket strap on her. Really looking forward to the work that she can do. Only knock for Tiffy that I have, though, but I think she's awesome in the ring. Then, but tell me if I'm wrong, Lucky. Does she telegraph a lot of her stuff? It seems like she's telegraphing a lot of her stuff. Like when she was taking that spot, when she was flung into the ladder, and she kind of had her arms over her head, like maybe 5 or 6 seconds before they even flung her. I get it, right? You want to protect your face, but I think she has to kind of be kind of spur in the moment type thing. I think that's because of her being a gymnast, right? Kind of planning everything out and making sure everything's looking smooth. But I think that's my only kind of knock on her is that, and like I said, that's coming from a guy who's never wrestled, but sometimes you can't really telegraph stuff all the time, right? Because it just doesn't look as natural, at least for me.
Yeah, I mean, I actually just did the Going Ringside podcast yesterday with Scott Johnson, and we talked about Mick Foley and Mankind. I talked about some of his career, and I said that a lot of wrestlers won't replicate what he did, to go to your point, because he would literally, like, if you throw him into a ladder, he's going to let his head hit the ladder to make it look real and get the crowd really into it. I'm not saying I want Tiffany to throw her head into a ladder, but like you said,
No, we can't mess up that pretty face now. Come on now.
But you have to make it look a little bit more real,
Right.
like
Right.
like at least like as your head's going in, that's when your hand comes
Yes.
up.
Right.
You can't
That's
run
exactly
to
my
it.
thought.
Like what
Yeah,
AJ
she's
Styles
like
and his
holding.
entrance?
She's like holding her hand there for like 5 or 6 seconds, and then she gets hit into the ladder. So I was like, yeah, she's gotta, But I mean, that's just a nitpick, right? I mean, she climbed up that ladder, did the swanton bomb off the top rope, and she just lands so soft. It seems like, right, even on to the outside, is like she's not landing hard. And like I said, that's kudos to her and her gymnastics background, but. Tiffy time, man. We've been waiting for it, and we finally got it, and we'll see where she cashes it at. Who do you think she cashes it on? You think she's cashes it on Bailey or
It's Bailey. She's gonna.
Bailey?
I don't think she's going to go against like Liv Morgan or Rhea Ripley when she's back. If she gets it back, I don't think she's going. I think she's going to be Bailey.
Okay. Okay.
And then the final match of the night, the 6-man tag. So you got Cody, Randy, and Kevin Owens versus Solo, Tama Tonga, and Jacob Fatu. Is Tonga Loa going to do anything? He hasn't had any match or anything since he's been there.
The guy was just dressed for a funeral out there.
I know. So I don't have too much to say. I mean, it's a good match. The expected outcome. If you're going to really push the bloodline, you have to have him win here. Right. And I'll tell you, I've been kind of knocking on this new bloodline and like how they've kind of fumbled it a little bit. But with the vignette from SmackDown, where Solo pretty much says Roman wasn't man enough to be the tribal chief, I am, like that vignette and what they did to Paul Heyman and then this match has me reinvested. I'm hoping that they just keep going that pace because Solo actually looks a little bit more like the leader a little bit. And it's going to be good when Roman comes back. That's going to be the loudest pop you're ever going to hear in your entire life when Roman comes back.
Oh, you're talking about Stone Cold pop is what you're talking about there.
And I think we're going to get it. That's what I
Oh
think.
man, I
But
mean, there's nothing like when that glass shatters, man. You already know it's on when that glass shatters. But I agree with you. I agree with you. I was a little, I don't want to say turned off by the bloodline when it first started, but Solo didn't talk much, right? When it was Roman, he actually talked the least. So it took Solo a little bit of time, right, to kind of get into his groove, get comfortable with the character, right? And Paul Heyman, what happened a couple of weeks ago with Paul Heyman, I think just took this bloodline to another level, right? When you can make Paul Heyman, you know, feel sympathy for Paul Heyman and make him a baby face, right? I think that did wonders for this bloodline. And just the addition of Jacob Fatu, I mean, this guy just looks crazy, like little
MVP of the
crazy.
match.
Oh,
MVP of
yeah.
the match.
Oh, by far, dude. By far. I mean, Randy Orton hits vintage. Orton hits that vintage DDT and he pops right back up. And kudos to Randy for giving up so much of himself, right? To put him over,
Yep.
right? During that. And just the agility that Fatu showed, the speed, and then he just climbed up those ropes and then hit Cody Rhodes with that flying body senton. When he
Yeah.
had the crossroads going up. I mean, just shows a little bit of what Jacob Fatu can do. And I think with his addition, really solidifies them as dangerous. And Michael Cole putting him over, saying, "Hey, WWE had to, get with Canadian authorities to allow him to come in, to come into Canada, for this match," right? That just little things like that, right? Just makes things a little bit more believable when you're kind of pulling that curtain, right? Because they talked about the same thing, I think, with Jey Uso, right? Because he's had
Yeah.
his DUI issues or whatever, and you know, suppose you can't go in, yeah, in Canada or whatever. So it kind of made it real, right? Made it seem real that, oh, okay, yeah, he's dangerous, and if WWE didn't pull a few strings, he wouldn't have been able to make it to Toronto for this match. But um, thought it was a good match, solid match. I'm looking forward to a Jacob Fatu Kevin Owens match. I think that would be an awesome match, fit both their styles. Rough and tumble, two big dudes that can use aerials. But I agree with you, Lucky. The way that it should have happened, and sets up, for when Roman eventually comes.
Now I will say this match also had a botch that I wanted to bring up, and it was Tonga Loa, Mr. Funeral Man, can't even hit a low blow on Kevin Owens. He had to like
Oh,
go back under. And then if you look at the other camera angle, he does it, but he hits Tama Tonga right in the head when he does it because his forearm goes up. I'm like, this is out of control, dude. Like between this and the pin botch, I don't know what's worse. Like WWE had kind of an off night tonight with those botches, but it's still, I think that the pay-per-view, I'd give it a good, 7.5, 8 out of 10. I think
yeah,
it's
I
fair.
yeah, I thought it was like a 7.5. I mean, that's the thing. Not every PLE has to be a 10, right?
Right.
Some PLEs just are there to, move across stories, right? And with these Money in the Banks, it's a gimmick match. The only thing I don't like about the Money in the Bank match is that when they open up that carabiner and all they got to do is slide that briefcase off, right? Um, it just looks
The
looks
men's
look
one actually looked legit. They didn't have
yeah.
a lot of like
They didn't have
fumbles,
a lot of
you
that.
know.
The women's had a lot of the fumbles where they're up
They did.
there and they're fumbling around with it. Because I thought Chelsea Green was going to win that match when she was up there and she had the carabiner open. All she had to do was slide it down, and I guess Tiffany was shaking the ladder, but we didn't get to see it. I really thought Chelsea Green. I thought Chelsea Green would have been a fantastic Money in the Bank winner too, because I think she has the perfect character for it too. But
If they
yeah,
would
I
have went
think
with
a,
Chelsea
so- a
Green,
solid 7 out of 10. I think for this
yeah.
pay per view.
If they would have went with Chelsea Green, I think that the spot you should have went with, if I'm booking it, just because of how it looked and all that, you should have had her, if she was going to win it, unhook the briefcase, and then she gets pushed through the tables holding the briefcase. That would have been pretty cool. But because with her like comedy shtick, like that would have been kind of like, oh, she got it, but she suffered for it. But
No,
overall, not a
absolutely.
bad pay per view. So good breaking it down with you. And again, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. We drop daily content all the time. And yeah, we'll see you on the next one. we have a couple top fives coming up, so we'll see you on those.